We've had a major aftershock this morning, 6.1. Understandably, all the patients ran out of whatever buildings were left standing, and they're crowding now in the open space. We need to set up some tents immediately.
What struck me immediately is not what I saw, is what I smelled. And it was clearly the smell of death. What you see is bodies everywhere. They were on street corners, they were hanging out of buildings, semi-collapsed buildings, fully collapsed buildings. A lot of rubble and dust, people running around trying to help out, groups in various corners, neighborhoods trying to pull out family, loved ones, and so on. A lot of dust in the air. There's something very amazing about these massive earthquakes, because of the way they sort of literally crack open buildings and houses and allow you to sort of peer into people's lives. So you will look into a building where there is a bed and a picture on a wall and a clock or something. That, you know, these views you get by the hundreds of things that you would never see, of course, ever. These are people's very private homes that all of a sudden are exposed now to the world and to the sun. Very unsettling for me about that type of view of people's lives.
It's just been hell on earth today.
In this particular mission with Haiti, I landed about 48 hours after the earthquake with a clear mission to find immediately the site, a suitable site for the hospital that was following us in the next 24 hours, to ensure that this works, to make sure that it's positioned well, to announce our arrival, to see what has survived from the existing healthcare structure and system that we can link up with and support. My brain is running at 120% with checklists and constantly monitoring and seeing how we can do our best. You see and you smell, and of course that is part of the assessment. But we let the emotions sort of stay on hold for a while. What is very, very critical, aside from having a secure site, which typically we try and position as close as possible to the existing local facilities that may have collapsed or may have been semi-functioning, is you need a water source and we need a fuel supply, because we do bring in water purification equipment and we do bring in generators, but the generators need diesel and we need the water source to generate water for the hospital. We also need a lot of local volunteers, both medical and non-medical personnel. Typically, our field hospital will go in with 20 to 30 expatriate medical personnel of various professions and administrators, but that will not make a 100-bed hospital function. So we quickly need local support. That is exactly what we did in Haiti. We found a suitable site right in the hospital complex of the main university hospital in the country, which was a complex of approximately 25 buildings that some had collapsed and some had not. So we set up our hospital there, providing surgery and outpatient care, plus providing critically additional supplies and tents and beds, extra material we bring in to provide to the local hospital that was partially functioning, to ensure that they are also able to sustain some level of service. And we work closely together with them like that. To Haiti, globally, the Red Cross deployed 2 field hospitals and 5 field clinics, meaning non-surgical. Our field hospitals and clinics have a lifetime of about 4 months, and then things are stabilized enough that we hand over and we exit. Haiti was by far more complex, and all of us decided to extend till at least the end of this year. That remains the case, and we are still rotating delegates and supplying the hospitals with medical consumables and pharmaceuticals and supplies to maintain the service. Haiti has an opportunity with the overwhelming now generosity globally and the types of expertise that are being offered, and of course, and the resources backing those expertise to in fact build back better. I wish them the best, but Many of the Red Crosses of the world are still there. And I always say, and in terms of also in our Red Cross world, what we say is also in terms of this response to rapid onset disasters like this earthquake is not necessarily how quickly we got there after, it's how long we stay.